Some of y'all Eagles fans, man, the second adversity hits, the second adversity hits, you guys go into panic mode. Oh my God, no Deshaun Jackson, no Alshon Jeffery. Oh, they might lose to the Lions. Oh my God, they got to play Green Bay on Thursday night. They got to play on Green Bay on Thursday night. Oh my God, they might go 1-3. This is awful. Oh, not this year. Don't happen now. Don't worry, guys. I'm here to calm you guys down. I'm here to tell you that everything's going to be just fine. Relax, okay? Relax. I'm going to tell you how they're going to beat the Lions, all right? I'm going to tell you how they beat the Lions. And then we'll get into the Packers next week, one game at a time. So, the one statistic that I'll throw at you right away, the Lions are 28th right now through 2 games, only 2 games, but 28th in defending the pass when it pertains to stopping running backs coming out of the backfield. So last week against the Chargers, Austin Eckler caught 6 passes for 67 yards. And then in the opener, it was David Johnson, 6 for 55 and a touchdown. So I'm looking at a situation here. You know, everyone's talking no no Deshaun Jackson, possibly no Alshon Jeffery. So you got to rely on Matt Collins and you got to rely on J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. So the key to this game, and this is something that actually kind of reminds me of a couple years back when the Eagles played the Broncos, and the Broncos were this stout defense that, you know, everybody in Philly, like, how are they going to move the ball? How are they going to get it past those cornerbacks? Well, the Broncos had a weakness when it pertained to defending tight ends. And I remember in this 51-23 drubbing that the Eagles had against Denver these couple years ago, they attacked with the tight ends, and they didn't even have Zach Ertz. So it was Brent Selleck, it was Trey Burton in the first half when they completely waxed Denver and waxed the Broncos. And why am I making this point? I am making this point because Doug Peterson exploits matchups. That's what he does. That's what the Patriots do. That's what the Eagles are trying to do. They're trying to mimic the Patriots. They're trying to be the Patriots. So Doug Peterson is going to take your weakness and he's going to exploit it. And that's what he's going to try to do on Sunday. So I'm expecting Darren Sproles, I'm expecting Miles Sanders to have big days catching the football. Darren Sproles, if you want to make a prop bet on Darren Sproles in the over when it comes to receiving yards. That's a lock city right there. I'm expecting some wheel routes, whether it's, hey, we might even see Clement in this game catching some wheel routes. I don't know. We might. Because the Detroit through 2 weeks are just not stopping these backs coming out of the backfield. Eckler was just doing whatever the hell he wanted last week. These swing passes, he's getting 10 yards a pop. So you get Darren Sproles and Miles Sanders involved. But that's how you can help open it up. So you get those guys involved. And then you get the tight ends involved, obviously, with Zach Ertz. You get him involved. But then you kind of go short, but then you can open it up deep. Because Matt Collins, he can sneak you with a deep one. Nelson Aguilar, he can sneak you with a deep one. So I think that's how they're going to kind of win this game. With misdirection, screen game, just basically trying to fool the Lions' defensive front seven. Moving their eyes, shifting their eyes. And that's how they're going to win this game. So, these injuries, it sucks. It's part of the game. It's a shame. But this is a matchup. You know, you got the Lions coming into Lincoln Financial Field. It's going to be a little bit harder. It's going to be harder against Green Bay. That's not going to be easy. And I'll tell you what, that defense looks very, very good. Very, very good. That front seven, it is bringing it. But here's what I will say. The Packers have thrived with the pressure that they're getting from Za'Darius Smith and Preston Smith. And if the Eagles can get good tackle play from Jason Peters and Lane Johnson, that could be the key to winning this game against Green Bay. So they've been unbelievable, but they've also been getting after the quarterback. And Chicago and then Minnesota, I mean, their tackles are not exactly the best. So you got Philly coming in, and, you know, their tackles are going to give those guys some more trouble. And if you can give Wentz some time, now this is the problem. Wentz hasn't had time the first 2 weeks because whatever the case is, that this offensive line always takes a month or two to get going. This happens every year. The Eagles can run the ball, seemingly, the first couple months, but they can't pass protect. This happened last year. This happened last year. It happened 2 years ago. So, the offensive line, I mean, that's going to be key against Green Bay. And if they're still not protecting Wentz, and if he's still scrambling for his life, that game's going to be a little bit more difficult than maybe we originally thought. And obviously, it's going to be difficult as it is going to Lambeau Field. So, getting back to this game, another thing I want to see, the defensive line needs to step up. The scheme is predicated on getting pressure with the front four. And right now, the front four isn't getting after the quarterback. Eagles only have 2 sacks. One of them is by Timmy Jernigan. The other one by manufactured pressure by Jim Schwartz. He's bringing a lot of blitzes the first 2 weeks. I think you guys have probably noticed that. He's bringing a lot of blitzes because the front four ain't getting home. They need to get home. And they're not getting home at the moment. Defensive ends are not getting home. Derek Barnett, Brandon Graham. Derek Barnett's getting pressures. He's basically becoming BG Jr. Then you got BG. And then Vin Curry, and Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat got close last week. I think that was last week. It might have been week 1 where he almost got a strip sack. But pressure needs to be there. Now, granted, I have noticed the first 2 weeks, the teams, they are chipping the DNs and kind of disrupting that a little bit. But still, got to get better. Fletcher Cox, I know you're coming off that injury, but he's got to play a little bit better too. So that's the thing that's going to hurt along the D-line is now, like, you had Malik Jackson and Timmy Jernigan, and that would have provided more one-on-one opportunities for Fletcher Cox. And now without those 2 guys, I'm sure he's going to see more double teams now. So there's that. Yeah, so I think they're going to use a lot of the running game in this game as well, because the Lions, they are 24th in stopping the run. And I know they couldn't run last week. They tried to go north-south last week against Atlanta, which kind of surprised me, because in week 1, Dalvin Cook ran all over him along the edges. All over him. I just saw a $5. There it is. Big Jeff Bone, my man, with the $5 donation. Fly Eagles Fly, are you confident in us against Detroit? Who do you think will be the X factor going into week 3 against the Lions? All right. So if you tuned into the video earlier, I think this actually could be. Now, I don't know if they're going to. We'll see how they use Sproles in this one, because, like, I know we've been complaining that, like, they've been using him too much. But I think this is the matchup you can kind of exploit with him. So I think Darren Sproles in this game. Some wheel routes. I'm looking at some wheel routes. You might even be able to hit a wheel route for a touchdown in this game with Darren Sproles. So that could be the go play Darren Sproles in the over for the prop bet for the receiving yards. Watch, he's going to do like nothing. But yeah, I'm looking at him and then Miles Sanders in the running game. So I'm expecting a lot of running in this game, more running than maybe usual, but we'll see. Maybe not. But at the moment I got a 27-16 win for the Birds. That's what I got at the moment. I think people are overreacting to the injuries. I think the Eagles still have some players that you can turn to. Zach Ertz is essentially a number 1 receiver playing a tight end position, but he's essentially a number 1 receiver. So you still have him. And Nelson Aguilar, a lot of other teams would love to have him as a number 2. So it's not like they don't have anybody. It sucks that they don't have, they're potentially not going to have Alshon, and it sucks that they're not going to have Deshaun Jackson. But you still got some other guys. And the Lions are an opponent that the Eagles can beat. But going back to the thing I was talking about with the defensive line getting after the quarterback, the reason why that's important, well, the Eagles haven't been stopping the pass. This is exactly what happened last year. Exactly what happened last year. And I made the same argument last year, and I'm going to make the same argument again. Jim Schwartz's scheme limits his cornerbacks. This happened last year with Jalen Mills. All you guys said was, hey, he's the worst cornerback I've ever seen. No, Jim Schwartz's scheme is one of the worst I've ever seen for cornerbacks. Jalen Mills wasn't even that bad last year, but you guys thought he was terrible. He was actually a stud in the red zone. And, these guys right now, I'm seeing it again, and everybody's blaming Ronald Darby and all this stuff. It's like they attack Ronald Darby, it's the ACL, it sucks, but it's also this game. And if the defensive line does not pressure the quarterback, the secondary gets exposed. We saw this last year. Same shit. The Eagles were ranked like 31st against the pass for like the first month or two of the season, and then finally crept down, but they were not defending the pass. And then finally, the last month of the year was finally when the pressure got after the quarterback. Finally. Because it was at that point when I believe they led the league in sacks the last month of the year. I think that's what the Eagles did. So this is a second half team. This is a team that gets hot in November when you want a team to get hot. The first month is a little shaky. And we'll see if they can overcome some adversity and not only win this game against Detroit, but also against Green Bay. We'll see if they can, because I think they have a better chance against Green Bay than people are giving them credit for. So, and Alshon might even play. He might even play by Thursday. We'll see about that. And Dallas Goedert. We'll see about those two guys. Obviously, having Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert on the field at the same time, it helps you. And the 12 personnel package was something that Doug Peterson had to get off the sheet last week. And obviously, a lot of things changed right away because two guys went down. Well, now you at least get a week to prepare, knowing that Deshaun Jackson isn't going to play and that Alshon Jeffery potentially may not play. So you have a week to prepare, whereas last week you didn't have that luxury, and that's going to be in favor of the Eagles as well going into Sunday's game. So Doug Peterson, those first 15 plays ain't always the best. But he does exploit matchups, and he does exploit weaknesses. And I'll be interested to see how they do in the first quarter in this one, because we've harped on it. 0 points so far in 2 games, a donut. Eagles were dead last in first quarter scoring last year. So what Doug was talking about today in his press conference wasn't first quarter scoring. It was scoring on the opening drive. And actually, I wish I should pull the thing up. But he gave a stat today in the presser. I don't know if I'm going to get it in time. Trying to type with one hand and record. I'm trying to type with my left hand. I am not left-handed. I'm not ambidextrous. I'm not Ben Simmons. All right, let's see if I can pull this stat up or pull this thing that I saw. But basically, he was saying like opening drive scoring, and it was a lot better during their Super Bowl winning season. And he kind of wants to get back to that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see this or not. The other thing that happened this week, if the whole walkthrough practice, Doug needs to go. Oh, no. Oh, thank you. Just kidding. Whew. See, texting sometimes I can't interpret it. Oh, I think Ertz and Goddard can attack the Lions linebackers. That's their weakness. Plus Lions 22nd. Yeah, I know you were joking. I saw that. Whew, thank God you were joking. But hey, I used to be that guy. I didn't like Doug Peterson when they hired him. So I was wrong about him. It's okay to admit mistakes. It happens. Man, where's the goddamn stat that I wanted to see? So I get like Eagles quotes sent to me, and I'm trying to sift through them at the moment with my left hand because I'm not left-handed, not ambidextrous. This is difficult, and I still can't see the goddamn quote. God damn it. Maybe it was another presser earlier in the week. It might have been from Wednesday, actually. All right, well, whatever. It's too late now. Okay. So, yeah, Philly Jim, I was talking about that earlier. I believe they're 20. Actually, it's 22nd against the run, not 24th. I think I said 24th, but it's 22nd. So 22nd against the run, and you can run on them. I'm gonna watch the Lions and Cardinals game. I don't want to watch the Chargers and Lions game from last week because I already saw it. So I saw it on the Red Zone channel. So I'm gonna watch Kyler Murray and see what the Cardinals did in Week 1. Now, I wonder what they can do with Ertz in this game because I know the Cardinals in Week 1 they weren't using tight ends. They use a lot of 10 personnel. It's crazy. I don't even use tight ends sometimes. But yeah. Did our chances of getting Ramsey get slimmer with more teams wanting to acquire him? Yeah. Obviously, whenever you have more teams wanting to be in on a player, that obviously leaves it up for other teams to potentially make a better offer than you. So obviously, it does hurt. I made the video about Ramsey earlier in the week. I'd be surprised if they got him because of the salary cap situation and what you'd potentially have to pay him. I'd love to have him. I think he's the best cornerback in football, but I just think it's going to be tough to maneuver with the cap. But if Howie Roseman thinks he can do it, then go do it, So, I know the reports are saying the Eagles are interested. We'll see. The Eagles are interested in everybody. That doesn't mean they're going to make like a great offer. So we'll see. The offer that Peter King suggested was a first, a third, and Sidney Jones. So that was his offer for the for a potential Jalen Ramsey trade. So a trade proposal that interested me that actually Brendan Albert brought up on Twitter. Patrick Peterson. Now, he's suspended for the first 6 weeks, but he's making, I think it's like $8 million for this year, for the rest of this year, and he wouldn't even get that because of the suspension. And then I think it's $14 million next year, but you'd have him for 2 years, and that would be potentially the way to go. So, I just throwing out a name out there, just somebody that like you may not expect, because Howie Roseman always goes after the guy you don't expect, and nobody's talking about Patrick Peterson right now, but everybody was talking about him last year. I think he's 27, 28, something like that. Jalen Ramsey's 24, so like if they had money, I would be all in on Jalen Ramsey, all in. Now, there are some potential issues with the scheme. If you brought Jalen Ramsey in here, Jim Schwartz better let him do what the fuck he wants to do, and that's play press man. And if he doesn't play press man, and he's playing a lot of zone, and he's playing a lot of off, I'm not saying that he can't excel in it, but he's not playing up to his strengths. And if he's not playing up to his strengths, I don't want this to be a goddamn Nnamdi Asomugha situation where all of a sudden you're trading 2 first round picks for a guy who you're going to pay $80 to $85 million for, who isn't necessarily a big-time fit in your scheme. So I would hope that Jim Schwartz would change things around some to equip Jalen Ramsey better. So those are my thoughts about that. And I would guess that he would, but defensive coordinators, coaches, they can be stubborn sometimes. All right. I did not mean this to be like an 18-minute video, but I just went off, and there it is. So I feel Darby is better than what our scheme offers him. I talked about that earlier in the video as well. It's like when the front four does not get after the quarterback, the secondary gets exposed. It happens it happened last year, the first month, when everybody wanted to ship Jalen Mills to Singapore. All right? Everybody wanted to ship him to Singapore, and, in reality, the defense wasn't getting after the quarterback. And once it got after the quarterback, say like the last 8 weeks of the season, all of a sudden the secondary play looked a lot better, huh? When the pressure was manufactured by Jim Schwartz, that's when you got the interception thrown to Ronald Darby. So, Adrian, what's your score prediction? I have 27-16 Eagles. And right now, the betting line is 6.5. I think it's 6.5 in favor of the Eagles. And there's a lot of money on the Lions. A lot of money on the Lions. There's this betting philosophy, they say. They say that if the public bets about 75 to 80% on one team, you always go the opposite team. And a lot of the public is betting on Detroit this week. Why? Because the casual fan sees that the Eagles are without some players, and they see that 6.5 line. They think it's a big line. They're like, ooh, The Eagles are definitely not going to win by 6 points. So that's why they're picking Detroit, and that's why I'm going the other way. I'm going Eagles 27-16. Guy's going to get cramps. Dude, you're not kidding about these like little soft tissue injuries. I mean, if there was one good thing about Chip Kelly, it was the shakes. Yeah. Those smoothies. They kept everyone healthy. The Eagles were actually always like one of the healthiest teams under Chip Kelly, and now guys are going down like flies. So, who will be the guy from the practice squad to make the roster this year? I maybe they called up Bruce Hector as a defensive tackle. Maybe did they already do that? I don't know if they did that or not. I don't think they did. But that would be the guy to look at. But maybe they go try and sign another defensive tackle. I don't know. So yeah. All right. I've gone for 20 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, the Eagles will find a way to win. All right, I've gone for 20 minutes. I'm going to hop out. Enjoy your Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. And make sure to tune in Sunday morning. So from 10 to 11, I'm doing Beating Your Bookie. And then from 11 to 1, I'm going to do some pregame show action with Sean Brace and David Akers live at Xfinity Live. So if you want to come hang out, I'll be there from 11 to 1. So PBR. Going PBR. Go ride the bull. All right, go ride the bull. I suck at riding the bull. I'm terrible. Absolutely atrocious. I'm never riding the bull again. But go check it out. Sunday morning, if you're going to the Eagles game, you want to hang out, come say hi. I'll be there at PBR Live in Xfinity Live this Sunday morning. Adrian Fedkiw, out of here. Peace.